What if Russia's invasion of Ukraine had succeeded? What if history took a different path? One where Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022 went according to plan and ended in success. How would the world look today through the lens of this alternative history? Would the economic, political, and social ramifications leave us in a better or worse global situation? In this video, we explore these possibilities through the perspectives of Russia, Ukraine, and the European Union. Prepare to question, reflect, and discuss as we open the door to a scenario that could have changed the course of modern history. Join us as we unravel this thought-provoking what-if scenario and inspire you to share your insights in the comments below. Let's dive in. Let's start by examining this alternate timeline from Russia's perspective. Imagine the invasion achieved its goals swiftly, bypassing the prolonged conflict we're witnessing today. For Russia, this may initially seem like a triumphant moment, finally cementing its global standing and regional dominance. But what about the cost? Economically, the West's swift reaction to Russia's aggression might not have wavered. Severe sanctions, already crippling in today's reality, could have intensified even more in this alternate timeline. With key Russian industries crippled, would the short-term triumph eventually yield long-term economic stagnation? Domestically, a successful invasion may have bolstered the Kremlin's narrative of restoring Russia's imperial prestige. Nationalistic fervor at home could surge. However, suppressing dissent further in the name of war and victory might have deepened societal divisions. While the state may have emerged more powerful in the short term, could the pride of conquest mask an underlying weakening of internal cohesion? On a global scale, Russia's image would remain polarizing. Would it have cemented its status as a powerful force that must be reckoned with, or would it have pushed Western nations to double down on their opposition, isolating Russia further from the global economy? Reflect on this angle. Has there ever been a victory in history achieved without immense cost? For Russia, a successful invasion may have come with far deeper consequences than anticipated. For Ukraine, in this alternate reality, the situation is grim. Imagine a world where the nation's sovereignty and independence are extinguished, replaced by a government loyal to Moscow. The vibrant cities of Kyiv, Lviv, and Odessa fall under Russian control, and the people's hopes of aligning with the West are shattered. Humanitarian and cultural consequences would be devastating. Ukrainian identity, language, and traditions could face suppression as part of a broader effort to assimilate the nation into Russia's sphere of influence. What happens to a people when their history, culture, and independence are erased? Could Ukraine's spirit ever be fully extinguished in this alternate timeline? Consider the possibility of a long-term insurgency. While military resistance would likely be crushed during the invasion, history teaches us that subjugated populations often fight back. Would a guerrilla movement rise to challenge the Russian-installed government? How would this unyielding resistance shape the region's stability in the years to follow? We also think about Ukraine's allies. In today's reality, the West has rallied unprecedented support for Ukraine. But in this alternate reality, with Russia's quick success, it's uncertain how far other nations would go to support a country already under occupation. The humanitarian crisis, refugee waves into neighboring nations, and long-term instability would only add to the chaos. Could Ukraine ever reclaim its sovereignty in this scenario? Would a united resistance inspire a global movement of solidarity? These questions reflect the heartbreaking reality of what such a success would mean for Ukraine and its people. The European Union faces immense pressure in this alternate history. Russia's success would present a direct challenge to Europe's core values of democracy, sovereignty, and stability. How would the EU respond to such an unprecedented event? In the immediate aftermath, Europe might impose even harsher sanctions on Russia. However, as energy crisis fears escalate, with many European nations heavily reliant on Russian gas and oil, would unity within the EU begin to fracture? Some nations might push for pragmatic compromises to secure energy resources, while others advocate for moral and political resistance. The success of Russia's invasion might also intensify debates over Europe's defense strategies. Would this propel EU nations to invest more heavily in their military capabilities? Would NATO strengthen its role, or could this event weaken the transatlantic alliance if internal divisions rise? Another major challenge lies in the refugee situation. Millions of Ukrainians fleeing conflict and occupation would seek refuge in neighboring EU countries. The social and economic ramifications of such a crisis could add another layer of strain to the region. For the EU, this alternate timeline poses complex dilemmas. A united front against aggression would be critical, but at what cost to internal cohesion? And in the long run, would a stronger, more integrated Europe emerge from this crisis, or would this event fracture the Union's solidarity? These possibilities raise another important question. How does Europe respond to threats to its very borders? The answer might define its future in any scenario, alternate or real. The ramifications of Russia's success wouldn't stop with Ukraine or Europe. It would ripple across the globe. Consider the message this scenario sends to other authoritarian regimes. Countries with contested borders or territories might see this as an opportunity to claim what they desire, ushering in a new era of global instability. On the global stage, alliances could shift dramatically. The United States and NATO might ramp up efforts to counterbalance this aggression, bolstering their presence in Eastern Europe and beyond. At the same time, nations such as China, Iran, or North Korea might draw closer to Russia, reshaping global alliances in unpredictable ways. Trade and global markets, already vulnerable due to today's geopolitical tension, could face immense upheaval. Sanctions, countermeasures, and uncertainty could further destabilize economies worldwide. Commodity prices might soar, impacting everything from food security to energy supply chains. Could this scenario result in a world with deeper economic divides? We must also reflect on the humanitarian impact. With one of Europe's largest conflicts shifting to occupation, millions of lives would be uprooted, families displaced, livelihoods ruined, and entire nations destabilized. The global order would face one of its greatest tests since the end of the Cold War. This alternate timeline could leave us questioning the very foundation of international diplomacy. Would the world descend further into chaos, or would it serve as a painful lesson for future leaders to prioritize peace over power? As we conclude, it becomes clear that the question of whether the world would be better or worse off in this scenario has no easy answer. Each possibility presents complex, multifaceted challenges. For Russia, what might seem like a victory could come with long-term consequences that outweigh its benefits. For Ukraine, the loss of sovereignty brings devastating cultural and humanitarian costs, while sparking resistance that could last decades. For the EU and the world, the implications challenge the global balance of power and unity in ways beyond what we're already experiencing. This thought experiment is not meant to glorify conflict or diminish its tragedies. Instead, it's a way for us to think critically about the interconnectedness of nations and the consequences of aggression. History is filled with what-if moments, and this scenario reminds us how profoundly outcomes shape our world. What's your perspective? Would the world be in a better or worse place if Russia's invasion of Ukraine had succeeded? Would the alternate timeline lead to peace, or would it escalate into further conflict and uncertainty? We want to hear your thoughts. Share your ideas in the comments below. Your insights might spark an even deeper conversation. If you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow history enthusiasts, and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. Let's continue exploring the complex narratives that shape our world, both real and imagined. Together, let's keep the conversation alive. Thank you for watching, and until next time.